Hi, welcome to the new episode of Sportsy Let's Aim Sports. Today we have with us a former India international footballer, Arata Izumi. Arata is a former professional footballer who has played as a midfielder. He is currently a youth coach with Reliance Foundation Young Champ, India's most prominent football academy. Arata began his professional career in Singapore with Albirex Niigata Singapore and in his native Japan for Mitsubishi Mizushima before moving to India in 2006. He spent the first 3 years in India with East Bengal and Mahindra United before spending 6 seasons with Pune FC. He then went on to play for ATK in ISL, FC Pune City in ISL, Mumbai FC, and Neroca FC in iLeague. With Neroca, Harata helped the Manipuri club earn promotion to the iLeague. He then ended his career playing for Kerala Blasters. Arata represented various clubs in Indian football circuit, and he also represented India at the international level. Giving away his Japanese passport in order to do so, Arata played 9 matches for India between 2013 and 2014, and in the process took Indian name Nilkant Kambolja. Please welcome India's Japanese son, professional footballer and renowned coach Arata Izumi, aka the Indian Samurai. Thank you for watching, thank you for liking, and thank you for sharing. But please do subscribe on our channel Sportsy Says and help us spread the word about Sportsy. We go with the same handle Sportsy Says across all the social media platforms. Hey Arata, it's great to have you on Sportsy. Let's talk sports.
Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. Honestly speaking, it's our pleasure to have you on the platform. We have so for the viewers and listeners, yes, Arata doesn't need an introduction, but it's my duty as a host to introduce my guests. We have Arata, India international professional footballer. Started his professional career in Singapore. Came to India. From there, went back to Japan. Came to India. Played with East Bengal, Mahindra United. Mumbai FC, then Pune FC, then ISL with ATK, Pune City, and probably the last was with Kerala Blasters. So I think he has played. He's a son of all the football that happened in India, but he came from Japan and then shifted to India to play for India. So it's a wonderful journey, and Arata, great to have you here.
Thank you for the nice introduction.
So my first question, Arata, how it all started, how the whole football started for you?
Well, I was born and grown up in Japan, that quite countryside, quite small town, I would say, and I had no clue about football till my brother started to play football when he was 10 years old. Yeah, 2 years elder to me, so I was that time 8, and just ordinary boy just following the brother. Don't know what's going on, but just when then I came to know the sports, football itself. Then first training session, shooting session, very simple. From next to the goal post, coach throw the ball, and you got to take a shot, anyhow. And that shot went like anything, like it was a super shot, according to everyone. Then everyone talk about, okay, this guy got something. Then I started to believe, okay, probably I'm going to be a professional player. That was my start.
Excellent. And you overtook your brother then, looks like.
Well, the thing is, my brother was a good player as well, but his interest shifted to something else other than football, basically. Yeah.
Okay, great. So when everybody else thought that this boy has got something, and then you thought of doing, okay, let me take it a little bit seriously. So and obviously as a young kid, you don't understand the professional life of it, but the moment you started to experience that you may turn professional, what was the aspiration that you had, and who was your inspiration, and how you keep yourself motivated through ups and downs?
Always I had a senior. I was lucky enough in my team, whichever the category I was in. My senior was always my role model. They are the one who gives me the right tips and show me the right way of, not how to become professional football player, but as a football player or as a human being, how you can grow yourself along with football. So I was just lucky to play with all those my seniors, and yeah, that is always my case. But to be honest, I didn't have any smooth career or development phase as I told you just now, my hometown is a pretty countryside, so there was no, the chance or the opportunity kind of things to actually become professional football player. But so yeah, but somehow, anyhow, probably following
You,
my dream.
and also it's not only about the talent. I think the talent meets opportunities, being at right place, right time. Uh,
Yeah, I was lucky enough, really. The players, my seniors, some of people who supported me. Of course, my mother. Yeah, my mother's. She supported me like anything. Uh,
excellent.
yeah, everyone though.
Excellent. So Arata, it's a pretty interesting journey. You started playing in Japan and then moved to Singapore for your for as a professional career. Uh, from there, you went back to Japan and then came to India.
Hmm.
So, what made you move to India from the Southeast Asia market, which is pretty advanced for football? So, how was that move for you between Singapore, Japan, and then India?
Yeah, so when I was with a football academy in Japan, when I was 19, 20, 21. So that is the time actually I started to experience professional football. Yeah, so my academy has tied up with one of the J League club called Albirex Niigata. So I was selected to train with the second team of the Albirex Niigata. So I
Okay.
started to play, the reserve team games and everything. Because of that, RFYC Niigata sent me to Singapore because I was not good enough to play J League at that moment. So they
Okay.
told me to go to Singapore and have some experience and come back. So that is the case. I went to Singapore, and in Singapore, uh, again RFYC Niigata, I played for a year and back to Japan for Mitsubishi, and
Mhm.
then I came to India. But sorry, what was the question? I was
No, I said the move happened, but what was how did you decide to move to India?
So
Uh,
yeah, right. Yeah, so when I was playing in Singapore, I'm a mix, so Japanese Indian mix, and Singapore, so there's a lot of Indian people and stuff. So probably they thought, they felt more like a connection to me,
okay.
and I was kind of popular on media.
Hmm.
Maybe that got the attention from this some of agent who spoke to me about Indian football first, and it was just beginning of my career, and I didn't know anything about the professional football world and whatsoever. So I was not
Hmm.
sure, and my English was really really poor that time, so I couldn't understand most of what he's saying. So basically, I asked my seniors, my coaches, okay, these things are coming on into my way. What do I do? So basically, they said, don't believe, it's dangerous.
Okay.
That time, no one knew about Indian football. I myself didn't know anything about India. At that time, was internet was not that active as
Correct.
how it is now, so it was difficult for me to get the information as well.
Right.
So simply, I said no, I'm not gonna go, and I went back to Japan. Then while I was playing for Mitsubishi Mizushima, the same agent emailed me. So that time, I was desperate. Mitsubishi Mizushima is not the professional club; it's a top amateur league in Japan. So third
Mhm.
division. So it's a very high level league, but still
Yeah.
it's not professional. But I experienced professional, you know, uh, life once, right? So I was desperate to get back to
Yeah.
professional life. So I was sending the email to all over the world. That time, so-called FIFA agent. You can go
Mhm.
through the FIFA's website and you can get the contacts.
Yes.
Yeah, with my poor English and CV and video, I shoot everywhere. Then I was getting kind of a response from few, but some of them sound very fishy and no. So I was like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? Then same agent emailed me one day, you are the what's up, what you're doing. Then I thought, wow, this guy must be serious.
Okay.
Yeah. Then I literally started to study about India, and there's a East Bengal, there's the Kolkata Derby, which was 120,000 people, and wow, there's a football in India. Then why not? Thank you very much. I say bye bye to Mitsubishi Mizushima. Thank you for everything. Boom.
Oh wow. Interesting. So this is pretty interesting story. It's like taking the chance and making sure that you make the thing happen for yourself. But before that, when you went back to Japan, you worked as a toso. It's pretty known story everywhere. But it's a known statement, but what made you work that? What is the story behind that?
This also again a bit strange story. So when I was talking with Mitsubishi Mizushima before I joined them, so the kind of condition was I play football only, or most of the time. And maybe you have to go in morning to the office, you have to do the time card, and that's all about it. Otherwise, you are football player. Then you are joining this company. But after joining them, it was totally different story. I had to work 12 hours almost every day in the factory. So my week was just like this. There's alternate weeks. Then we change the time shift, of course. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the early time shift was what time to what time it was? Very early morning, like 6 o'clock to evening 5, 6 o'clock.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, and after that factory finish, immediately go for the training session and come back and sleep in the early morning again. And and the other week is opposite way. So evening you go to the factory, you finish around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock morning, and straight from there go to gym, sleep, wake up afternoon, and then you do the training session. And the weekend we go for the games. That do all over the Japan. So we had to go by bus 7 hours, 8 hours every week. Yeah. So it was just a strange time of my life, and yeah, working in the factory. Imagine 12 hours standing and cars coming left, right.
Yeah.
That after professional life of 1 year. It was a good experience in a way. Yeah, I think I learned a lot. People were really good players, amazingly good players. We had a good time though.
Yeah, because it's like it is a factory working. It's a hard work, and basically when it's something shows that the whole journey of an athlete, there are always something which keeps you grounded. I think some of these experiences also keeps you grounded. So Arata, one more question: what is now? You are a trainer, you are a coach with Reliance Foundation Young Champ, and it's a wonderful setup, one of the top academies in India, and with AFC now. But you're also seeing the grassroots and the coaching in Japan. So what do you think is the biggest difference in the coaching style or the culture of sports in India and Japan?
It's quite a difficult question, to be honest. I mean, there's a lots of difference. That's why the result is showing at this moment. But purely, if you look at the potential wise, I believe India have much more than what Japan have or had or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Coaching style, and no, there's not much different, to be honest. In fact, I mean, Indian coaches have more idea about football. That is mainly probably Indian people have much more access to European football, or because of that simply language. I mean, English information comes much faster than translated Japanese information, which Japanese coaches get after 1 year or 2 years of the original. Yeah, right. So that way also, I think much quicker the information coming into the India. Organization is getting much more solid in India. So I mean to say, previously it was not like that. You know how Japan have solid organization in terms of football JFA, who can literally create the right information to spread it to the country, to make sure that everyone's going in the same direction. That's why probably Japan becomes one of the best country in Asia after J League came. So to yeah.
Right.
But that way, India is definitely going the right direction. And like yourself mentioned, like academy like Reliance Foundation Young Champ. I would say this is the best academy in Asia, one of the best for sure, in terms of what this academy is trying to do and the ambitions and everything. So yeah, I cannot compare Japan and India, but what I can say is, I mean, India is going pretty much right direction.
I think finally at the bottom line is as long as we are going in the right direction, it makes sense, because Japan has got a different tradition. It's a developed country and different challenges. Both the country have different challenges, but not having a sporting culture in India was always lacking or always pulling India down. But I think for football, I think the right moves are happening. So which is a great thing, and the place like Reliance is doing a phenomenal job. So uh, coming to your first impression of India when you came and made a debut with East Bengal. What was going through your mind when you made your debut with East Bengal and the culture in India or the environment in Indian football?
You know what? I don't want to talk much about it because
No,
someone can be not happy. But honestly, if I have to talk, I was surprised in a negative way, to be honest.
okay.
Yeah, because the information what I had and the history of East Bengal, you know, everything was like extremely exciting. But probably that was just a history.
Hmm.
Oh, so yeah. Well, maybe I just didn't know the reality, and probably I was just dreaming that creating some kind of picture in my head.
Hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, I still remember the first training session. That big club, that fan following club, the one of the best, oldest club in the world,
Yes.
and yeah, that training ground is like concrete hard, and the infrastructure was not there. Obviously, that time, it was not even iLeague. It was NFL still,
Yes.
National Football League. Yeah, so of course, I mean, now then I can easily imagine that maybe these are the things is going to be
Correct.
waiting. But at that time, without knowing things, young Japanese guy, I was surprised.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think so, and whatever you said, it's not negative. It is more of the experience because you came from Japan to Singapore to India, and it was always going to be you were there for the rude shock, right? Because uh, no not much access to internet, lot of much information available, but you still go with the biggest name, which is Indian football, 100-year-old history, and all those things. But a lot of change. For the good thing, when we talk right now, it's when we see it is the thing have changed for good. So that, but about the iLeague, before we come to your ISL thing, about the iLeague, you also helped Neroca qualify, and so when you played for Neroca and they got promoted to iLeague, uh, how was that feel to get the club up in the level?
so that was I had a clear objective when I signed for Neroca, and that was a conversation with the management before I signed for Neroca, and that objective was so clear, and I was there for that only. So when we made it happen, yeah, we made it. So
Yeah.
that amazing feeling, and I always talk about Neroca very positively. I think I had the best, one of the best time I best season in a sense, best time I spent with. Usually, I don't get along with footballers because I always keep the professional relationship. But with Nerokas players and the management is a totally different story. They are like treated me like their family. I was, never felt like I'm alone or
Yeah.
something like that. They are always there. Winning, losing doesn't matter. We are there. We are just going to the one direction, which is going to promote this club, first club from Manipur to play
Yes.
for ID. So the project itself was really really appealing to me, and I'm glad that I could do something for the history of Manipur football.
Yeah, and the way Neroka grew after that, I think it was also a great journey for them. Till obviously all other things happen. The finances always play the big role in the growth of the club and all those things. But you can't do anything about it. But I think that's what you said. The proud moment is you make a club, whatever you committed to, you make it happen. I think that is a proud moment for
Yeah,
any athlete's life.
yeah, not only player but the management. I tell you,
Yeah.
Classic Group was the main sponsor at that time.
Hmm.
But such a nice people, such a nice people. I still remember one day we had a game, and it was I think rainy season or something. So early morning, the manager called me, and I was a bit worried, the grass is going to spoil and it's going to be difficult again because we wanted to play football. Then the early morning, he himself called me and telling me, Arata, don't worry. I went to get big this plastic seat, what do you call, to cover the
Uh-huh.
ground,
Oh wow.
to
Okay.
protect the ground for us to play good football. If the management, if the owner's son here if he has to do that, I mean, as a player, what you can
Correct.
think how to return is do our best to win the game, right?
Right.
So that kind of management, Neroca had. And so everything was in the right place for the club to
Right.
promote that year. Yeah.
Excellent. I think that creates the good environment for athletes also to flourish, the game to flourish, and people come together. So as an athlete, when you see these kind of highs, you feel really good. But while you're with Mahindra, you were down with an injury,
Hmm.
and it took some time off your professional career. So that time as a player, and now you look back as a coach, what goes through a player's mind when they are battling through an injury, and how much of the recovery is physical and how much of it is mental?
Mm. So, injury itself is not that rare, for footballer, especially if you're playing such a long time. So I also had a long period of injury, just like that time when I had a fracture when I was with Mahindra.
Yeah.
So whenever my senior told me, whenever I cannot play football, I think that is a chance or opportunity for me to work on something that I cannot focus on usually normal
Mhm.
time. When you can play football, you are focusing on your football.
Correct.
But when you cannot play football, there's a things that you should be focusing on, but
Right.
it's neglected. So now you are injured, you cannot play football. So now focus on that. So that I had a very clear idea about that. So mentally, it was tough, but again, my objective was clear, and I just kept working. And I knew anyway, one day I'm gonna recover, and I'm gonna play
Right.
football. So I was just waiting for my time to come.
But yeah, I think what you certainly said is like even if injury put you down, have a goal which will make you work towards it, learn something new, do something which will probably get you out of it. Like getting bogged out, I can't play is not going to get you out
No,
anyhow.
none of the pros thinks that way. Your injury is injury. It doesn't kill your career. Of course, I
Correct.
mean, if you get such a big injury, it's a different story. But that's a small injury. Okay, my case is 6 months. It was long enough for me to be a little bit. Oh, what about my next contract? Am I okay? But otherwise, any pro will think about okay, how to make myself better. Whenever I went back to the ground, I have to prove myself again. I mean, that's a motivation. So I think. Yeah,
Okay.
difficult, but it's not
Great.
that negative, I feel.
Excellent. I think that is it's and I'm sure that is the talk that you always have with the students or the kids that you have at Reliance. Uh, so Arata, you have a mixed background, which is Indo-Japanese background, and there was a time when you actually decided to become an Indian player and represent India at the international level. Uh, how was that decision, and how did you feel to wear the Indian jersey for the first time?
Well, biggest honor of my life, for sure. Uh, I always say, but I cannot say thank you enough to India to accept me to wear the blue color and be on the pitch. I mean, what else you can replace, more than that, especially being a football player,
Yes.
wearing the country's jersey and being on the pitch and playing football, which I love the most. So yeah, I will never forget the first game that I played against Palestine. Although
Mhm.
we lost the game, but that day when I stand on the touchline for the
Correct.
start, yeah, that feeling I will never forget. I can still feel the goosebump whenever I think over it.
Yeah.
My experience with the national team was not that long, but I think I had a greatest experience of my life
Yeah.
with the national team.
Yeah. It probably it may not be the long, but it has to be the sweet. It has to be the impactful thing. I think that is what it is. It's a chance that you get to represent a country and wear the jersey of the country and everything. So it's so amazing. But how was the family reaction when you actually accepted the Indian citizenship to play for India?
Well, first of all, changing the citizenship itself, it was a big decision, obviously.
Correct.
Yeah, and some of family member told me, okay, what are you thinking? Don't do that. Some of friend told me, don't do that. My coaches told me, don't do that. Close people think over it. But I always I asked my brother in the end, and my elder brother, and I know his answer anyway. But I know my answer also, right?
Yeah.
Still, I just want one more push, which my brother anyway he's going to give me. He always say, "Yeah, sounds interesting. You should do it." This is exactly he say every time, anytime. Yeah, decision. And yeah, he told me as I expected, and yeah, then
Okay.
let's go for it. But of course, there's a lot of drama happen. I don't think I can talk in the
Yeah. No, that's fine.
but yeah, as I told you, yeah, I'm just grateful that this country gave me that opportunity. If there's a that
Excellent.
opportunity, I don't think you should be thinking twice.
And glad it happened for this country also to have a football like you. Is glad it happened. So while the India jersey was happening, it's also at the personal level that you described your move to Pune FC as a turning point in your career. What actually changed in your move to Pune FC?
Moved to Pune FC was after Mahindra. So again, there were a lot of drama. I don't want to describe
Yeah.
it, but yeah, something clicked, and Pune FC had a vision. That time, Pune FC was the first Indian club to run the club as a professional way in terms of a
Right.
lot of things, and
Correct.
that was definitely one of the reasons that I decided to sign for them also, and yeah,
Mm.
personally, I had a good relationship with the club itself, and my performance also. I think I adjusted to the Indian football. Finally, after 3 seasons, so lucky me to have 3 seasons without adjusting the culture
Okay.
in India. But yeah, simply I needed some time, I guess. But after joining Pune FC, I think I knew the role that I have to play in Indian football. And yeah, things get much smoother than how it was with the East Bengal or the Mahindra that time.
Right. And the city that you made your home as well. Later.
Yeah, yeah, lucky to meet my wife and yeah.
Uh, So anyway, so from there, when the let's move to the ISL, which was again a different animal, which came up and really taking Indian football by surprise and actually good moves happening. During your time with 80K, that you scored a goal against the Kerala Blasters at Salt Lake,
Hmm.
and the presence at Salt Lake is huge, around 65,000 people there. But one of those spectators was the legend Pele.
Hmm.
So what was the feeling, and did you get a chance to meet with him?
Yeah, yeah, we were lucky. Mr. Pele came to our hotel. That time, no hotel. We all players are there, so we got a chance to interact with Mr. Pele. Very nice gentleman, obviously. Of course, the legend of legends. So I
It's
mean,
a different legend. Yeah.
any footballer, if you like football, I mean, you will be excited to see him. And of course, scoring in front of him is something that I never dreamed in my dream, right? And yeah, happened. I was happy, very excited. Yeah.
Okay. So so okay. So and after that, you had different stints with two more ISL clubs, and it was like Pune City FC, as well as I think the last before your retirement was Kerala Blaster.
Yeah.
So it's I think other than you, probably Anas is the only person who has played across so many clubs and had every place that you went were welcomed with an open heart. So how was that feel with different cultures, like from Kolkata to Pune City to Kerala Blaster? Again, all the three places were like hardcore footballing hubs and fans. So how was that experience? And say Adeu to the game that you love the most professionally playing wise from Kerala.
Oh well, first of all, ATK was that year we had a auction, players auction. That was the first and the last players auction,
Yeah.
and I didn't know which club is going to pick. So that time also I talked on the interview that it's dramatic enough for me to come back to Kolkata and play football this way. That the last year's champions club and buy me in auction and playing for them. So definitely it was dramatic moment. And I knew the Calcutta supporters, if you win, you are good. If you lose, you are trash.
Yes.
And that's a very clear mindset. And I like that pressure and expectation. And I believe we did a really, really good job in that season,
Yeah.
80K. We should have been much higher than how we ended, but that's football. Shift to Pune City. This was a kind of different project altogether. Uh, Mainly, Habas, he he signed for Pune City, and that was one of the motivation that for me to sign Pune City. And same time, of course, back to Pune, playing in front of Pune football supporters was something that I was always hoping to happen since Pune FC had to close down, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Oh,
it was again dramatic enough situation for me to come back to Pune and do something for Pune football again. Unfortunately, that season we were not in best form.
yeah.
Good players and a good team, but something didn't click. That again football. And yeah, after that was of course Kerala Blasters, and this is a city that I always wanted to play. Uh, and you know how Kerala Blasters, their supporters, and previously Viva Kerala or some of Kerala clubs, always there was a football. There always there's an emotion with football in that city. So I was really excited to be part of Kerala Blasters, and from the day I signed for Kerala Blasters, the news came out, and since then, the supporters, Manja brothers, they are like literally like becomes your family.
Yeah.
They keep us, and taking care. Whichever the airport you go, they are there with the flag, with the chant. Not even only in India. When we went to Spain for the pre-season, also you come to you meet people from Kerala
Oh,
Brothers. I mean the
wow.
support. Yeah. So that was something that I never experienced as a football player. Of course, you are known face probably. You are talk to strangers sometimes. Oh, you are East Bengal player and stuff. But this the amount of time that you are caught by the stranger was like, wow, these guys are really huge community they got. And when you play in the stadium, you see the yellow,
Yes.
totally completely yellow. Yeah, that was really, really. The supporters are really nice supporters. I mean, I'm not saying that they're the bad supporters, but Kerala supporters is more like an emotional support they
Yeah.
gives to the player. Calcutta supporters give us a lot of pressure. That is the motivation of players. So as I mentioned, I like it. But the Kerala Blasters supporters are slightly different way of supporting, and I think sweetest supporter, I must say.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
And I'm sure that when you played for 80K and that you were ex East Bengal, so there were different. Those fans don't let it go pretty easily in Kolkata. So from there, yeah, after Kerala Blaster, you as a professional player, you hung your boots and decided to move to coaching. What was the trigger to come to coaching, and what is that you want to give it to the next generation?
See, again, it was my plan only. I always wanted to be a coach after my career. So my first coaching license was when I was 19 in Japan. Yeah, the
Okay.
license it was. So it was in my plan. That's why I finished my AFC before I finished my career till A. Pro license didn't happen, unfortunately, but at least till A. So yes, it was my plan. And, especially after playing for India, and before that itself, I was always thinking that I want to do something, for Indian football. Anyway, and coaching is one thing that probably I can contribute some. So it was smooth transition from for me actually from player to the coach. And same time, I was lucky enough to get the opportunity to join this Reliance Foundation Young Champs, who has a really strong, solid philosophy and vision. And yeah, it was just matching with what I want to do. And yeah, so I guess I'm lucky. I was lucky. Really, I was lucky.
Excellent. And so, while you're coaching the kids, is there a moment where the player in you take over?
So I said the transition was smooth, but that way transition is not even finished yet. You know, many people may think. No, no, that's a typical story that the good player is not a good coach. I mean, that's proof to everything.
Yeah.
It's a totally different job together. This is playing and coaching, and obviously when I coach, yeah, I was footballer, so that comes out, and that time I have to stop myself, especially first year. I think, yeah, I took time to actually start to think as a coach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, Interesting. So, just as a couple of questions. One question is like, what has been your best moment in your career? What has been the best moment for you?
Of course,
If you
man.
want to pin one or two, I will not put you in a spot to just pick one. Probably you can pick two. What were those?
As a professional, is it?
Yeah.
Becoming pro. So yeah, one definitely when I wear the blue and I played for country. That was definitely the best one. And second one is when I signed for the first contract. That was a professional contract. I was so excited. I in front of owner I signed, right, and I
Yes.
literally like, oh,
Excellent. And
excuse me, I said that. Yeah, I was that excited. And the last night when I scored a goal in front of my mother, I think that
oh,
was
nice.
we came down all the way from Japan to watch our game. It was in Kerala. You see, I have a lot of story with Kerala. Yeah, yeah,
Excellent.
yeah.
And as you said, that the homely feel that they gave you, probably that was the probably the same thing was extended to your mom when she came and watched the game as well. It's like that's what the Kerala thing is, right? So it's different. And one thing, as you at the start of the interview, you said that while growing up, it was from the countryside, not much of exposure to football. But as you grew and you had a career, was there any footballing icon or non-footballing icon that you looked up to? Like,
For boarding icon, then I always, even today, I mean, Kazuyoshi Miura is oldest, I think, professional football player by now. I don't know, officially or not, but I grown up watching him. And of course, first game, Jerry game, I think when I was 10, Verdi Kawasaki he used to play for, and that time Verdi Kawasaki is like a Real Madrid, the all stars of Japanese footballers.
right.
And of course, he is there 11, number 11, super player. And I dream that I want to be like him. And following him, I became professional football player, and the 15 years of professional career, and I retired from professional football, and he's still playing as a professional football player.
Oh wow.
That's
Oh
crazy or
wow.
not? Unbelievable. He's I think 57 or something like that, but still he's with the J now a J1 or J2. I think top division.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That is awesome.
I'm not so sure, but yeah, he's about always for me.
Excellent, excellent. So Arata, my last question to you is, what is the advice that you got while growing up that actually changed your life that you might want to pass on to the next generation of footballers or athletes? Arin always tells me that you go with some of the statement that never give up and don't do this. And now, as a coach, okay, something that you want to pass on to the next generation from your side. Forget what you got, what you received. But now, if you want to pass on to the all the listeners and viewers of this show, what is that could be?
I would say maybe make sure that you appreciate your efforts. Sometimes, especially when you are young, you work hard, you make efforts, but sometimes you keep telling yourself, no, this is not enough. I have to do more. There are people who are doing much more than me or something like that. Don't do that. You are doing a lot. And respect that your efforts and appreciate that effort and reward your efforts. I think that is something that I should have done when I was young.
Okay.
Hopefully, I can pass on this message to the young.
That is wonderful. It's like appreciating what you do. I think it's so important. It's and wonderful. That is so honestly, it is not a big statement. It's a very humble statement for people to understand and live uh, probably try to make best out of whatever you do, and have respect for that. I think that is wonderful. Thank you, Arata. It's like wonderful talking to you on this, and it's I think this. I think you have so many other stories that we would like to talk on to, probably offline, where you can have more discussions.
No
But
problem.
really thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me. Though. I had a great time. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you for watching, thank you for liking, and thank you for sharing. But please do subscribe on our channel Sportsy Says and help us spread the word about Sportsy.